The past decade has witnessed a relentless climb in global temperatures, shattering previous records and setting new ones almost every year. This has sounded alarm bells across the scientific community, prompting urgent calls for action. This warming trend, primarily driven by human activities that release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, is no longer a distant threat, but a present reality that we must confront head-on. As temperatures continue to rise, we are witnessing profound and often devastating changes to our planet's climate system, affecting every corner of the globe. The consequences of this warming are far-reaching, impacting everything from weather patterns to ecosystems and altering the natural balance that has existed for millennia. These changes pose significant challenges to human societies worldwide, disrupting lives and livelihoods. The scientific consensus on climate change is clear. We are living in an era of unprecedented warming, and the evidence is overwhelming. The consequences are becoming increasingly apparent, with visible changes in our environment that can no longer be ignored. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the leading international body for the assessment of climate change, has concluded, with over 95% certainty, that human activities are the dominant cause of observed warming since the mid-20th century. This conclusion is based on extensive research and data analysis. This warming is primarily driven by the burning of fossil fuels, such as coal, oil, and gas, which are integral to our current energy systems. These activities release carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, creating a thickening blanket that traps heat. These gases trap heat from the sun, leading to a gradual increase in Earth's average temperature, a phenomenon known as the greenhouse effect. The impacts of this warming trend are already being felt across the globe, from rising sea levels and melting glaciers to the loss of polar ice caps. We are also experiencing more frequent and intense heat waves, which pose serious health risks and strain our infrastructure. Droughts and floods are becoming more common, disrupting agriculture and water supplies. The scientific community has issued stark warnings about the potential consequences of unchecked climate change, emphasizing the need for immediate action, including more extreme weather events, which can cause widespread destruction and loss of life. Widespread food and water shortages, mass displacement of populations, and increased competition for scarce resources are also likely outcomes. These factors can lead to increased conflict over scarce resources, further destabilizing regions already under stress. The urgency to address climate change has never been greater, as activists and scientists alike call for immediate and sustained action. As global temperatures continue to rise, so too will the risks to human societies and the natural world, making it imperative that we act now. The time for action is now, to implement policies and practices that can mitigate the worst effects of climate change. We must transition to a low-carbon economy, embracing renewable energy sources like wind, solar, and electric vehicles. Reducing our reliance on fossil fuels is crucial, as is investing in technologies and practices that can lower our carbon footprint. We must also invest in sustainable solutions such as reforestation, sustainable farming, and green building designs that can help mitigate the impacts of climate change. By taking these steps, we can secure a livable future for generations to come, ensuring that our children inherit a planet that is healthy and thriving. From the scorching heat waves that have ravaged Europe and North America, causing widespread discomfort and health issues, to the catastrophic floods that have inundated Asia and Africa, displacing millions of people and destroying homes, extreme weather events are becoming increasingly frequent and severe, affecting every corner of the globe. These events, once considered rare occurrences, are now stark reminders of the profound ways in which climate change is altering our planet's weather patterns, making them more unpredictable and dangerous. The connection between these events and a warming world is undeniable, as rising global temperatures fuel more extreme conditions, with scientists warning that we can expect more frequent and intense extreme weather events in the decades to come. The urgency to address climate change has never been greater. The Australian bushfires of 2019 to 2020, for example, burned through millions of acres of land, killing dozens of people and billions of animals, and leaving a lasting scar on the environment. The fires were fueled by a combination of factors, including prolonged drought, record-breaking temperatures, and strong winds, creating a perfect storm for disaster. These conditions, scientists say, were exacerbated by climate change, highlighting the interconnectedness of our climate system. Similarly, the Arctic, once known for its icy landscapes, is experiencing unprecedented heat waves, with temperatures soaring to alarming levels and causing rapid ice melt. In 2020, the Siberian town of Verkhoyansk recorded a temperature of 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, or 38 degrees Celsius, the highest temperature ever recorded north of the Arctic Circle, a clear sign of the changing climate. These extreme weather events are not isolated incidents but rather indicative of a larger trend, showing a pattern of increasing severity and frequency. As global temperatures continue to rise, we can expect to see more frequent and intense heat waves, droughts, floods, and storms, each bringing its own set of challenges. These events have devastating consequences for human societies, ecosystems, and the global economy, disrupting lives and livelihoods. Understanding the link between climate change and extreme weather is crucial for developing effective strategies to mitigate the impacts of these events and adapt to a changing climate, ensuring a more resilient future for all. To comprehend the surge in extreme weather, we must delve into the science behind climate change's amplifying effect. This involves understanding how various factors interact to create more severe weather conditions. A warmer atmosphere holds more moisture, leading to heavier rainfall and increased flood risks. This means that even regular rainstorms can turn into significant flooding events, impacting urban and rural areas alike. Rising sea levels, a direct consequence of melting glaciers and thermal expansion of water, exacerbate coastal flooding during storms. Coastal communities are increasingly vulnerable, facing more frequent and severe flooding. Furthermore, climate change disrupts established weather patterns, potentially leading to prolonged droughts in some regions and increased precipitation in others. This variability can have profound effects on agriculture, water supply, and ecosystems. The jet stream, a high-altitude air current that influences weather patterns in the northern hemisphere, is also affected by climate change. Changes in the jet stream can lead to unusual weather patterns, affecting millions of people. As the Arctic warms at a faster rate than lower latitudes, the temperature difference that drives the jet stream weakens. This weakening can disrupt weather systems far beyond the Arctic region. This can cause the jet stream to meander and stall, leading to prolonged periods of extreme weather, such as heat waves or cold spells. These stalled patterns can result in extended periods of unusual weather, making it harder for communities to adapt. The science is clear: climate change is not just about gradual warming, it is about making extreme weather events more frequent, more intense, and more unpredictable. This increased volatility poses significant challenges for disaster preparedness and response. This understanding is crucial for informing policy decisions, developing adaptation strategies, and raising public awareness about the urgent need to address climate change. By recognizing the amplifying effects of climate change, we can better prepare for its impacts and work towards mitigating its causes. The consequences of extreme weather events are far-reaching and devastating, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Lives are tragically lost, homes and infrastructure are reduced to rubble, and economies are crippled by the immense costs of recovery and rebuilding. The human toll of these events is immeasurable, with communities often left reeling from the physical, emotional, and economic scars left behind. The 2023 heat wave that swept across Europe, for instance, claimed the lives of thousands, overwhelming hospitals, and exposing the vulnerability of even the most developed nations to extreme heat. In developing countries, where resources are already stretched thin, the impacts of extreme weather can be even more severe. The 2022 floods in Pakistan, for example, submerged one-third of the country, displacing millions and causing billions of dollars in damage. These events underscore the interconnectedness of our world and the disproportionate impact of climate change on vulnerable populations. The urgency to act is not just a scientific imperative, but a moral one, as we witness the suffering inflicted upon those least responsible for the crisis. Beyond the immediate devastation, extreme weather events have profound and lasting consequences for human societies. The loss of life and property is just the tip of the iceberg. The economic fallout from these events can be crippling, as businesses are destroyed, crops are wiped out, and critical infrastructure is damaged. The World Bank estimates that climate change could push over 100 million people into poverty by 2030. Moreover, extreme weather events can have severe mental health impacts. The trauma of experiencing a natural disaster, losing loved ones, or being displaced from one's home can lead to post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. The psychological toll of climate change is often overlooked but is a crucial aspect of understanding the full human cost of this crisis. Addressing the human costs of climate change requires a multifaceted approach that includes not only reducing greenhouse gas emissions, but also investing in disaster preparedness, providing mental health support to affected communities, and promoting sustainable development that builds resilience to climate impacts. The evidence is unequivocal. Climate change is real, it is happening now, and it is driven by human activities. The window of opportunity to avert the most catastrophic consequences of this crisis is rapidly closing, demanding swift and decisive action from governments, businesses, and individuals alike. The time for complacency is over. We are in a race against time to secure a livable future for ourselves and generations to come. Reducing greenhouse gas emissions is paramount. This requires a fundamental shift away from fossil fuels and towards renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and geothermal. Governments must implement ambitious policies that incentivize clean energy investments, phase out fossil fuel subsidies, and promote energy efficiency. Businesses have a crucial role to play in decarbonizing their operations, investing in sustainable solutions, and driving innovation in clean technologies. The urgency of the climate crisis cannot be overstated. Every fraction of a degree of warming averted matters, and every year of delayed action brings us closer to irreversible tipping points. It is time to act boldly, decisively, and collectively to address this defining challenge of our time.